Okay, my friends, so today again we are reviewing a vintage binocular, the Jason Empire model 256, fully coated, 7 by 35, which is a 7 times magnification with 35mm objective lens. This is a very wide 11.5 degrees with 604 feet at 1,000 yards. Very wide for those of you who like that kind of stuff. For those of you who don't know, and that means that when you look through the image from one end to the other is 604 feet at 1,000 yards. Obviously we're looking a lot farther than that, but this particular binocular has the fast focus, right? Fast focus, as opposed to the insta focus from the Bushnell brand. I want to say these were more like 1980s. I forgot a little bit about what I read regarding Jason brand, because this is the Jason Empire, Jason brand, starting to use these fast focus kind of stuff. This looks too colorful to be a little 60s, but it could definitely be 80s, possibly. Massive lenses here. However, doesn't necessarily correlate to glasses friendly. These will pass glasses friendly, okay, but just barely pass. Comparing it to my other binoculars that I've done before, the Caissons, the Binoculars 8x40, some other binoculars, the Empire 271, Pentax PCF, the Pentax PCF 5. Those are like Cadillacs, really comfortable eye relief on that one. And this one is just barely glasses friendly. Okay, just barely. Now this particular brand here, or this particular model, does not use eccentric ring circles for collimation. This says Japan. Let me see. This says Japan A-12715 SMC. For those of you who know more about that kind of stuff. Okay. Is that even coming out? Maybe not, huh? But there it is. And as you can, I'll show you something in the middle a little bit in a minute. But this is the case it came with. It's telling me, this case is telling me 1960s, 50s. And look, 256. Japan. Alright, these are the tags. This was the 256. So this is telling me that this is the correct case. However, this case is screaming 60s to me, not 80s. So unfortunately I forgot when the Jason brand started to use the fast focus and the insta focus when the Bushnells came out. But in any case, this is a very simple, comparing it to the Jason Statesman's case, 1970s, super expensive. This is a very simplistic case, which it does tell you something about the price of the binoculars. Again, the Binoculars, super fancy case with the brand inside, logo, if you saw the video on that one. Very nice. This one here also starts using this plastic for the lens covers, which screams 70s to me. This screams 70s or 80s. Okay, very flimsy, not cheap. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's garbage. No. This binocular is actually pretty nice. The glass on it, the sharpness of it is very nice. This is the rubber eyepiece, which I found comfortable. Eye relief on that one is really good. But this is the lens housing. Okay, and the lens housing is all plastic. The slits here that you see, right here and here, that's for the lens to keep it in place. You cannot access the lens from the back. While other binoculars, you actually remove the lens from the back. With this one here, you just remove that locking ring and the lens comes out if you needed to clean it, or for whatever reason you need to clean the insides. But this is a B-type binocular, okay? Again, B-type, which I don't know when they stopped making those. I don't know if they made these in the 80s or 90s anymore, though, or at least the late 80s. I don't think so. I want to say 80s, but I keep that bag and it's just telling me early 70s, mid 70s actually, to be honest with you, because I'm about to show you something that is going to blow your mind if you've never seen this before, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'll just align my binoculars myself, or I'll, as the word is, collimate. To collimate your binoculars is to align the image. But here I'm going to show you something that maybe you've never seen before, or that you don't often see. I haven't seen any videos of it. So, as I said before, with the B-type binoculars, the lenses are in a housing by themselves. I'm going to turn this around so we can get the sun right in it. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see, the lens in here, the front lens, okay, this front lens is not accessible here because there's no opening here. There's no way to get in there. So all this kind of stuff has to be done from the back when it comes to the B-type, all B-type, okay, to access the lenses. However, there are binoculars that are B-type that you have eccentric ring circles for collimation. So you don't go into the back to collimate them, really, okay, you don't do that. These, however, and others have, if you see right here, it's kind of hard to see now. I'll be opening up this binocular some other time, but this one here, the screws here, they are sitting on springs. There's 3 springs holding the whole housing together, and those are the things that you use, to put in one, like a tripod, basically like a tripod. Imagine me, like right now, to get this even, I had to bring the leg up on this side. Otherwise, it would be tilted too far to the left over here. So to even it out, I had to shorten this leg, and that's what that system is using. So I've seen it before, and also, unfortunately, look at the glass or the lenses or the prism. It's cracked. It does affect it a little bit. Sometimes you can see a lot more of that damage than others, but generally, I've got another one that's a little bit damaged as well, and it's kind of okay. So these are okay, but again, the prism housing is what you adjust on these binoculars, okay, unless it has the eccentric ring circle, eccentric rings, and supposedly there are other binoculars, a B-type, where they do have a couple of adjustment screws here and there, but this one does not. No binocular B-type that I have has adjustment screws, but supposedly there are. They are either eccentric ring circles, which the prism housing is set in there solidly. You might have to adjust the screws a little bit to help in the alignment, only because remember one thing, when this kind of stuff was put together, all this stuff, when all the screws were put in, besides this one being calibrated, because that's what you have to do with these types of screws, prisms that are in a housing that are calibrated, when you just put them in there to just set the whole prism mechanism sitting in the binocular, all that stuff was torqued to the proper pressure. In other words, it wasn't some guy sitting in an assembly line with a screwdriver just let me squeeze it in there, okay, tight enough, let's go, next one. No, all this kind of stuff was properly torqued to the correct amount of pressure. Too much pressure, you can crack something, or you can be misaligned. You can even tweak the image of what you're seeing, and not enough pressure, and you get looseness. So all these B-type binoculars that I've been showing you, they are all going to have a prism system. Either it just sits there, but it needed to have the proper torque, or it has a spring like this one, or it has an eccentric ring system for collimation, or again, possibly somewhere some of them have screw adjustments there. But in any case, I really wanted to show you this one. This is a very nice binocular. I paid $15 for this. Now, is this worth $15? If it was collimated, aligned, yeah, very much so. Very much so. It's a good image. It is a very nice image, in my opinion. Nicely sharp image. It's clear through and through. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. And you see in other binoculars that I have, let me just talk about one thing. In other binoculars that I have, I'm putting the phone right up to the lens, and you can see a circle. In this one, I'm putting again the phone right up to the lens, and I'm not magnifying the phone at all. But as you can see, because of the size of this lens, the entire image on my phone, the entire phone screen is covered by the image. So there are differences there. Now that doesn't mean, as I said, that does not mean good eye relief, positive eye relief, friendly with glasses. It doesn't mean that at all. But I would assume that this is giving you a pretty wide angle because of those big lenses. 11.5 degree angle, 604 at 1,000 yards. That's pretty darn wide, man. That is pretty darn wide. So in any case, my friends, if you find these for 15-20 bucks with a case, collimated, okay, aligned, I think that would be a really good deal. I think it's a good deal. But thanks again for watching my video. Hope I didn't rant too much about the adjustments on these, but this is very unique. I have not seen anybody do a video on those types of adjustments. So anyway, that's in the future. Take care. Thanks for watching.